Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we have a stack of source material that is, let's just say it's pretty mind-bending.
It definitely is.
We're doing a deep dive into a theory that completely flips our understanding of Earth, of us, of pretty much everything.
The idea is that this planet isn't just, a planet. It's something else, a cosmic correctional facility, a sanitarium.
Or maybe, just maybe, the universe's most intense, high-stakes university.
And what makes this so compelling is where the ideas come from. We're not just pulling from one place. We're looking at threads from modern spiritual teachers like Sylvia Browne, but also ancient Gnosticism.
And indigenous wisdom, too, right?
Yeah.
Like the Cuero shamans from Peru.
Exactly. So the vision today is to synthesize all of this and really try to understand what it means for our reality, for things like UAPs, and even for that feeling of wanting to go home.
Yeah, that feeling. Okay, so let's start with the line that really grabs you. It's from the psychic Sylvia Browne.
It is. She called Earth the insane asylum of the universe. But then, in the same breath, she says it's also the ultimate postgraduate school.
A place where you get a PhD in soul evolvement. How can it be both? The worst place and the best school.
Well, that's the paradox, isn't it? The theory suggests they're two sides of the same coin. The difficulty is the curriculum. The sources say that only souls with incredible courage and perseverance would even choose to come here.
So you're not sent here as punishment. You sign up for the hardest class in the catalog.
Because the rewards for graduating, for mastering this incredibly challenging environment, are just unparalleled in terms of soul growth.
Okay, so let's unpack that. If it's a school, why the label insane asylum? What's the justification for that?
It really comes down to just observing human behavior. The Cuero shaman teachers we looked at are very direct about it. They just say, the mind is mad.
And when you look at our history, you kind of see their point.
You really do. I mean, as a species, we are capable of such incredible things. Art, technology, beauty.
And yet, we build these complex systems for everything. Food, shelter, belief, relationships.
And they almost inevitably spiral into war, destruction, and suffering. Not just for us, but for the entire planet.
So if an outside observer, some truly advanced civilization, were looking down at us, what would they see?
Utter madness. Utterly pathological behavior. It would make no sense to them.
Which brings us to this core idea in the sources, this principle of as above, so below.
Right. The microcosm reflects the macrocosm. So if we want to understand how a galactic civilization might behave, we should just look at how we behave.
And what do we do with individuals who are a danger to themselves or to society?
We isolate them. We build prisons, penal colonies, sanitariums. We create quarantine zones for the safety of the whole.
So the idea is that a higher civilization would do the same thing, just on a cosmic scale.
Precisely. And Earth is the perfect quarantine zone. It's remote, it's self-contained, and it's full of challenges.
The sources use this historical parallel that's really striking. England using Australia as a penal colony.
Yeah, and that's such a great analogy because Australia wasn't just a prison. It was a brutal, complex experiment in rehabilitation. The hope was that the harsh environment would force some kind of reformation.
Or at least keep the problem contained.
Exactly. And when you see Earth's history of violence and disaster through that lens, it reframes suffering. It's not random. It's part of a very, very difficult rehabilitation process.
So if we run with this analogy, it begs a huge question. Who's who in this cosmic sanitarium? Who are the inmates and who's on the staff?
Well, again, we can look at the microcosm. Any prison or hospital has a clear structure. You've got your patients, inmates, but you also have guards, doctors, teachers, wardens.
So our leaders, healers, teachers, armies, they're all just playing roles within this larger system.
They could be, yeah. The whole structure is there. Governance, religion, philosophy. It's all the operational framework of the institution.
There's this great anecdote in the source material from a former inmate at San Quentin.
Oh, right. He said that there are a lot more people in prison out in the world than inside the walls.
Which is the core idea, isn't it? The real prison is the mind. If your ego and fear are running the show, you're an inmate no matter where you are.
That's it. So if Earth is the facility, there must be a universal staff, right? Observers, teachers, healers who are here to guide the process.
And this is where it's really metaphysical. Could this be the explanation for, angels, ETs, prophets?
It provides a framework that ties it all together, and it leads us directly to the UAP phenomenon. The sources see that as activity from the staff.
But wait a minute. If the whole point is for us to evolve through our own free will, why would the staff interfere? Wouldn't that defeat the purpose of the class?
That's the critical tension, and the sources point to a very specific kind of interference. There seems to be a red line.
Which is?
The observation is that these UAPs, consistently show up around nuclear missile sites, nuclear weapons facilities.
So it's less about observation and more like a guard stepping in.
Exactly. It's like the staff making sure the inmates don't burn down the entire asylum. They can't destroy the facility itself.
So you can have your wars, you can cause all kinds of local damage, but you are not allowed to detonate the whole planet.
That seems to be the one hard rule. And this is where the Quero make this fascinating distinction between different types of visitors.
Okay.
They say there are two kinds. First, you have the ones who show up in what they call buses, physical spaceships. They're here to study us, maybe mess with us a little. They could be less advanced observers.
And the second type?
The second type they call the star brothers and sisters, and these are the really advanced ones. They don't arrive in ships. They appear through a tear in space and time.
Wormholes, portals.
Right, interdimensional crossovers. And these are the beings associated with deep healing, with guidance. They're the true cosmic staff, whereas the others might just be, say, cosmic anthropologists.
Okay, so this brings up the exit strategy. If we're here for this really difficult PhD in soul evolvement, what does graduation look like? How do you finally go home?
It connects directly to all the spiritual concepts we're already familiar with. Ascension, enlightenment, becoming your higher self.
So the process of healing the mad mind while you're here is the key.
That's what allows your soul, your essential self, to be welcomed back to its normal home.
Which, after a lifetime on Earth, must feel like what we'd call heaven.
You'd have to think so. But the goal isn't necessarily just to die and leave. The sources point to Jesus' teaching, the kingdom of heaven is within.
Meaning you can achieve that liberated state right here, right now.
The prison walls are mental. When the mind is free, the walls disappear, even if you're still physically on the colony.
What about near-death experiences? So many people who have them describe this feeling of going home.
Within this theory, NDEs are seen as almost like a temporary leave. The soul gets a glimpse of the non-physical realm, maybe gets some guidance, and then returns to the body to continue the work.
Let's go back to those portals, the tiers in space and time. If the star brothers and sisters are using them, does that explain other weird phenomena?
The theory proposes that it explains a lot. These portals could be why we get these brief, fleeting appearances of things that just don't fit.
You mean like Bigfoot or the Loch Ness Monster?
Exactly. Cryptids. The idea is they don't actually live here. They just stumble through a portal from another time, another dimension.
And then vanish right back out again, just a momentary bleed through.
It sounds like pure sci-fi, I know. But the source material is clear that ancient shamanic techniques have allowed people to consciously travel to these other realms.
Just using their consciousness.
Yes, and what's so compelling is the consistency. People from different cultures, different times, using these techniques report startlingly similar things. They meet similar beings, visit similar places.
So it's not just a hallucination.
The argument is that it's more than that. It's a reality that's beyond what our brains and our current instruments can fully measure or comprehend. It suggests consciousness itself is the key to that freedom.
So, after all of that, what's the practical takeaway? How do we take this really challenging theory and apply it to just getting through the day?
Well, what's really grounding is that the sources emphasize that everything you already believe, it's still true for you.
So your faith, your spiritual practice, none of that is negated by this idea.
Not at all. This is just a larger container for it. And if you think of life as a high-stakes school, it completely reframes your daily struggles.
Suddenly the traffic jam, the difficult boss, the political arguments, they're not just random frustrations.
They're the curriculum. They're the specific lessons you signed up to learn. And that changes how you respond to them. It doesn't mean you're absolved of responsibility, though.
Right. The mandate for the learner is still there.
It is. We still have to do the work to heal ourselves, to come into our power as co-creators. We still have to struggle with politics, make sustainable choices, and keep this place habitable for the next group of students.
And it all comes down to how we treat each other. The source material mentions love and respect, kindness, and this concept called allowance.
And allowance is the really hard one. It's non-judgment without giving up discernment.
So you can see that someone's behavior is destructive.
That's discernment. But you don't have to take on the burden of judging or hating them for it. You allow them their own messy curriculum.
But what about actual conflict? Earth is a tough place. The sources say that absolute nonviolence is highly problematic here because Life lives off of life.
This is where the ideal meets the brutal reality of the colony. The source lays out a very clear self-defense scenario. If your life, or someone else's, is under immediate threat from a weapon,
You have a choice, Gandhi's path or using force to defend a life.
and the shamanic wisdom in the sources acknowledges that reality. It's not about imagined threats, but immediate danger. So the advice isn't a rigid rule, it's to choose your battles carefully.
And to walk away whenever you possibly can.
Because the highest teaching is always the search for harmony.
What an incredible framework. We started with Earth as this insane asylum, and we've ended up with it being a tough, high-stakes school for the soul, filled with struggling students and cosmic caretakers popping in and out through portals.
We're all in it together, either working through our own madness or trying to help others navigate theirs.
And if that whole idea feels overwhelming, if the world as a chaotic quarantine zone is a hard pill to swallow,
There's this final, profound assurance in the source material. Just do the best you can, because despite all appearances, there is no great judge or scorekeeper in the sky.
instead, beneath this entire complicated reality, there's an unconditional loving and forgiving source. A true father and mother, God and Earth, who just want to support your learning and your eventual graduation.
And that's the ultimate paradox for you to explore. That unconditional love is the foundation of the toughest classroom in the universe. If everything you see as a punishment is actually a lesson delivered through love, how does that change the way you see the world tomorrow? Think about that.